680's Kris McCusker joins us now. Kris, it's been a rough week on Bay Street, but it looks like the markets will still finish with a winning month.
Yes, that's true. The TSX actually had its best quarter in about 5 years, if you can believe it. Higher by about 6%, up by 2.2% in June, but down 1% over the last 5 days. So roller coaster, to say the least. As far as the U.S. goes, the Dow was up by 1.4% for the quarter. So just to underline this, the TSX outperformed by about 3 times what the Dow did. The Dow was up slightly this month and then down 0.5% this week. The NASDAQ, though, continues to be the big winner in North America on a year-to-date basis, up by 9.3%. It was down this week by close to 2% and then up by 2% this month. So numbers kind of all over the place.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Foreign Affairs Minister Chrystia Freeland fired back at Donald Trump today with some counter tariffs on U.S. goods. Tell us about that.
Yeah, and this is sort of the latest back and forth between Canada and the U.S. on this front. The final list actually includes $16.6 billion worth of American imports that will be hit with these retaliatory tariffs, starting appropriately on Canada Day. The items range from ketchup to lawnmowers to playing cards. Now, the Foreign Affairs Minister also unveiled a financial aid package for the industries caught in the crossfire. So that's up to $2 billion in new funding and support for workers in Canada's steel, aluminum, and manufacturing sectors. Freeland also referred to U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs as illegal and absurd. So no doubt this drama isn't over yet.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to continue for some time. More investors are now betting that the Bank of Canada will raise interest rates next month after a new announcement on GDP data.
That's right. And the GDP data wasn't great, but it was still better than expected. A gain of 0.1% in April. And we did also see a jump in the chance for a Bank of Canada interest rate hike earlier this week after a speech by the Bank of Canada governor. Today as well, we got the quarterly business outlook survey, which did signal widespread business optimism, with sales outlooks remaining robust. Now, this survey was taken before this sort of trade tiff started, so it's not really clear how much credence we can give to this report. Nonetheless, though, we're now looking at an 85% chance, according to Bloomberg, that we will see an interest rate hike by the Bank of Canada on July the 11th.
Now, here's a brand name that a lot of people are familiar with if they head to the drugstore on a regular basis. Hair care giant Marc Anthony preparing to go public on the TSX.
That is correct. Now, the way this works is that they have raised $242 million Canadian for the initial public offering. The Toronto-based firm has priced its shares at $14 each. It will trade on the TSX under the ticker symbol MAV. It's known now as MAV Brands or MAV Brands. Now, the company was acquired by a U.S. private equity firm in 2016, and then it expanded its beauty business this year by acquiring another Canadian company called Cake Beauty. It's not really clear when this IPO is going to start, but again, we're hearing from Bloomberg about $14 a share.
Now, oil is close to a 3.5-year high. And am I reading this right? Gas prices are actually going to hold steady as we head into the long weekend?
For the time being. That's sort of what I'm suggesting here. We could see a change as we continue with summer. Of course, summer tends to be a little busier as far as driving goes. So oil did hit this 3.5-week high earlier this week, climbing above the $70 mark. A lot of things going on. We're seeing a drawdown in U.S. supplies. OPEC increased production in line with expectations. There are concerns about supply in Libya, and then the U.S. asking allies to drop Iranian oil imports. Now, as far as oil goes in the last month, it's up by more than 12%. Today it closed at $74. It started the month at $66. So, yeah, no change in gas prices tonight, but where we go from here is anyone's guess.
Thanks, Kris. Have a great holiday weekend.
Yeah,
we'll talk
you too.
to you again soon.
Thanks, Christina.